Alright, good day guys, and welcome to another Rocket League analysis. This one is for Michael, and and yeah, we'll get stuck into it. I just want to say a few things, so we're gonna let this roll out while because he's just sitting and this joining thing doesn't happen. So, um, I'd like to apologize firstly for not doing any of these for a couple of weeks. Um, I am between jobs at the moment, so I've been looking for other work and stuff like that and trying to get everything sorted out. And so most of my time that and I've had obviously a lot of free time, but most of my time has just been spent practicing and stuff. Anyhow, I'll get stuck in and I won't be doing any more of that. I'm just going to be going hard with these analysis, trying to do more self-analysis videos and stuff like that. I'm going to try to get out at least one every couple of days. Anyhow, let's get stuck in. Um, Good kickoff. The wave dash, that wave dash was actually really good because generally on kickoff you go a bit high on the wave dash. Well, it was smart of you to be a bit passive there. There was no point really to push up, but there, that was a bit of a mistake. You extended yourself badly. Whoops. You extended yourself badly because I'm sure you were expecting a little bit more because that guy could have come in and the other guy could have come in. Um, but it would have been better to extend to that than wait it out and then go for it then. Or you just wait it completely and don't go for it at all. And you let them do their next touch and then go off that. Your teammate's sort of rotating badly, I think. He's not rotating into middle at all. He's just trying to chase. And I had a conversation recently on the Rocket League community Facebook group. And I was talking about twos and ball chasing in 2v2s. And what your teammate's doing here isn't the right thing to do, right? Because you were in this lane. You could have centered it for him super easily, right? Because you had the momentum, you had the read on everything and all that kind of shit. He didn't actually, because he wasn't all the way back where you were, he couldn't see where both enemies were. He couldn't assess what was going on, and he had no idea where you were. He, unless this guy had the ball like on top of his head or something like that, he shouldn't have turned for it. He should have just let the play happen and let you go on for it so that and then him go to center. But it's good that you left him to do his silly shit, even if he's even if he's just whiffing everything and just beating everyone up and really not doing anything of any sort of merit. So that was really smart. And also your car looks absolutely fucking sick. Anodized is so awesome and overrated simultaneously. Alright, your teammate did a bad thing there. He tried to catch the ball and then go for a solo play, but he didn't go about it at all properly, like, not even close. So, now, I want to point out another error. This error gets you scored on. This is a tag team effort right here, but, I think this is in the spot. I don't really know. Alright, so you turned on this. This was a really bad thing to turn on, because they're both in the corner. Where I would have turned is the midfield, by the way. They're both in the corner, right? Which means that any one of them can touch it at any time. And going for a challenge in a corner, as like in the enemy's corner, is a bad idea just in general, unless you can pull off a win, let alone when they're there. So you generally, like, when both of them are in that corner, you generally don't want to go for it, unless you can get a clear shot on it. So turning around a little bit further, for example, letting them get that touch there might have been alright, being where your teammate was. Again, your teammate made a mistake by extending and overextending himself um, when he saw you in the corner. You never want to overextend when you're in the corner, when your teammates are in the corner. You want to be passive until your teammate can actually get back on. It's pretty smart that you're waiting here out a little bit because your teammate's doing nothing but just trying to hit the ball as often as he can. And that is not how you win games. You know, doing what, like, he's not doing anything right there. If he had have gone back to the net, you could have gotten a hard clear off. That was unfortunate. You literally just missed. So, shit happens. But you got back to the net quickly. Your teammate's still just doing this weird ball chasing with no momentum, or really sort of. He's a worse sort of teammate. But oh, that was a good 50. You absolutely destroyed them. That was gorgeous. Your teammate's not really doing anything at all constructive. I don't. I don't know what his plan is, why he's doing it. Another good kickoff. You got there, you get in there really quick, but you don't really have any boost afterwards. That's pretty normal in most kickoff situations, except for the straight on kickoff. That's the one where you usually have excess boost. Right, your teammates really. This is. I'll compliment you for this. That is something that your teammate should have done. He was in this corner. You never camp the close corner when uh when the enemy is shooting. You either go to the far side, you turn around and wait for them to take a shot so that you're facing this way, like away from the ball, sort of shadowing the net, I guess you could call it. Or you push and take your opportunity, especially when you are all the way back here. There's no need for him at all to sit here. But all he did was give them an open net to shoot on because he can't go sideways. He can only go forwards and backwards, and it can't even really go forwards. You need it, sorry, backwards. He, the only way your car can accelerate quickly is forwards. It's the only way your car jumps. It's the only way your car anything. So you always want to have the face of your like of the face of your car, the front end of your car facing towards where the ball would be. You going far post was really smart here. So you've got a lot of good decision making. Part of this is pinned down to stupid teammates, which is why you're such a passive player, I can see. Um, but you see here, he can't like side flip into this. He just gave them an open net to shoot on, basically. He can't side flip into it. He can't drive anywhere. He can barely even reverse into it in time. And it wasn't even a fast shot. You see, he was fucked. But you pulled a good angle. You got a good angle. I don't really know how that challenge worked, but he's doing literally nothing right. This is like Oceanic Platinum players. Why? And then his random ball chasing actually works out when they pass the ball to him. They're like, here, have this spoon-fed pass. You're giving this guy so much credit. I would not be. I'd be keeping my mouth shut because this guy's really actually. You guys, if it was just you versus both of them, I swear you'd be like 5 goals up already. That was a good challenge. It was good. It was good to get on that side of the ball. Challenges like that. I won't go into description about challenges like that. That there could have been a little bit cleaner. Um, to save here, you could have waited it out. It wasn't really a threatening shot, but you sort of passed it to this fella. Where I would have put it is in this corner. So I would have put it in the corner, grabbed the boost, taken it off the wall, and launched it, or gone for something else. Because you can't really get to this before he can. Um, so he's already got full boost, max momentum, and he's on the wall. But fortunately for you, he didn't take a shot on net, and you sort of evaluated that he was going to go for the ball and didn't try to push it. Also, you have no boost. Stop pressing the damn button. That's alright. I did the same thing. I press it like 20 times. I just spam it so that everyone on the screen can hear. You still have no boost. Alright. Oh, he actually passed it, and oh yes. Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of shit for this one. Um, Air rolling this situation was really not a smart idea to do. Um, it was a straight on shot, so obviously you can still shoot it out regardless. But to get the maximum amount of power on this shot, what you want to do is stay on the ground for a little longer, double jump into it, and then angle your car into the ball as you hit the ball, and you will boom it straight into the net. It takes a bit of practice, but it doesn't require any air rolling. It's fairly simple, and you're gonna boom it more, and you stay on the ground for longer. So if anything happens, you're still on the ground. Whereas if you because you jumped so early, these guys could actually have beaten you to it. And they couldn't have cleared it, but they could have hit it straight up, and it would have put you on this side on the backboard with your teammate, which meant that if the other guy had recovered and trusted his teammate, you would have gotten scored on. So you definitely want to practice taking aerials a little bit later. It's sort of a more advanced move, but it's definitely one that's worth learning. And generally, I don't give tips on mechanics, but air rolling is one of those things that frustrates the hell out of me because so many people do it and it takes so long to master and they do it 90% of the time on completely unnecessary shit when they could have gotten a much, much faster shot without the air roll. Oh, that was a good 50. That was pretty smart of you to not panic and I don't know. Your teammate sort of just sat there in the net and waited for the next bounce in the ball. It was basically like he was waiting for the blue team to come at him. It didn't make any sense. He could have boomed that and given you heaps of time, or passed it to you, or literally anything else. I don't know what he's doing. You've thrown him on your back and you've carried him because he doesn't know what he's doing. See you later, dude. He just got sent. Oh, that was unfortunate. Oh, double unfortunate. I'll give you a word of warning. Well, not a word of warning, a word of advice. If somebody's in the center field and they're coming along the ball like this, like all his momentum is traveling this way. So no matter what he does, unless he's got his second jump, he can't hit this with any sort of real momentum because all of his momentum is already traveling this way. All he's got to do is skim the ball and tap it. It might very, very slowly go towards the net, but nothing threatening, nothing worth pre-jumping for. Um, Keep in mind, the goal is very small. You can double jump. If you sit on the line and you time your double jumps right, you can double jump and hit the roof of your car onto the roof of the net. That's how small it is, right? So don't feel like you need to pre-jump because you don't. And this got you conceded on. You were in the right spot. You were just sitting here, um, and you most definitely could have waited it out. Your teammate also just massively panicked, and that was another. He missed it by a mile, but again, he was aerialing as well, and his aerial fucked up his entire aerial. Also, your wave dash kickoffs are decimating these blokes. They have no counter for it. It's awesome. Your teammate should go for. I don't know where he's going. He could have passed it back to you, but he didn't. Oh, that was unfortunate. I see what you were trying to do there. It's just unfortunate. That was just mechanics. He made another mistake again, and it almost got you guys scored on. Because you were sitting in the smart position. Like, he should have been able to clear that. What, what a touch. That was a shame. But your teammate's nowhere near you. Like, he's not ready at all for. How the fuck did he make it to champ? I'm literally boggled right now about how he managed to make it to champ. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Truly doesn't. But you won. You carried him. You you did all the hard yards, and you got a crate for it. Booyah! How the fuck is that champion? Diamond 3 ranked gameplay. Oh, like you did fairly well. You were playing very smart. Your mechanics aren't perfect, but you're playing very smart. He was a downright idiot. And the enemies, how the fuck did one of them manage to get to champ one? See, the other guy's lagging. I could kind of I could say, oh, he's lagging, blah blah blah. But the champ one, what the fuck? Oh, anyhow, I'll do a little recap of what you need to work on. Um, One of your errors was, although you're trusting your teammates and although you're respecting your enemies, you're not entirely trusting yourself all the time. You're giving a little too much room to your enemies um, from time to time. And although it's not inherently bad, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, especially if you're on the defense. You did well with your defense this game, but and I'll give you credit for it, but also like I can't take from the fact that these guys are not on the same level as you, and yeah, I think it's more down to mechanical decision making. If I was going to pick anything that you need to work on, it's just mechanical decision making. Figuring out what mechanics you need to do in what scenario. Um, and realistically, for the most part, that's just practice. That is all you really need to practice Another useful tip for never challenging in corners, right? Never challenge if they're coming off that wall there. I have never had a challenge work out there. I mean, obviously I have, but 90% of the time or more, the challenge will not work if you will not get a touch on it if it's in that corner. Because the thing is, it bounces off fucking everything. It bounces off this corner, bounces off this corner, it bounces off the curve there, it bounces off his car, it bounces off your car, it bounces everywhere, and it does not go where you want it to go ever. Like, ever. The best way to do it is to wait a little bit further back and then take the turn about there, or to wait where you are and go on the wall or something. But even this is a little bit close. I would go to midfield, because then all the random stupid touches that can happen. And then all you have to worry about is what their car can do to the ball. You don't have to worry about what the corner, what the edge and the triangle and what this bit can all do to the corner, to the ball, sorry, and what their car can do on top of that. You just have to worry about their car, and that's easy to read. If the ball's going in one direction and a car can only hit it certain ways, easy as pie. However, it's a lot harder when you've chosen literally the second worst possible place that a ball can bounce. The only place worse being like the corners of the posts. You never pre-jump a like post jump touch unless you've had like 5,000 hours and you're so used to the way the physics work that it's just second nature. Like a lot of pros do. But try to stay away from challenging in their corner because, for example, I'll give you a little example. If sorry, I'll just keep playing the video. As you can see, right, the ball came off his car, but because you were all the way down here, because this little dip happened. It's not a dip, but it's a dip for you. It's so much harder for you to get a touch off. And even if you side flicked out and got a touch, where would it have gone? Straight to midfield. It would have like boomed straight to your half of the field. I have had people and done it myself. I have owned gold from challenging in the corner and pinching the ball with the enemy because they'll most of the time not lose. The worst thing that can happen for them is it goes back into the corner or it goes into the center of the field where their defender can get to it before your attacker can. So most of the time it doesn't work out. So yeah, rule of thumb, just let the ball go in the corner. Just let it fucking happen. Just sit in midfield and wait for their touch, then go for it when it's in a more predictable spot. Um, Apart from that, that was an error you made on your side of the field as well. Obviously, you can challenge on your side because 90% of the time it will work out, unless you're the last defender. If you're last defender, I definitely wouldn't. Um, unless you know it's gonna work out, I wouldn't. But that's just a bit more situational. And yeah, all in all, just situational mechanics, figuring out what mechanic you need to do to make what work. But all in all, you're a fairly solid player. You've got fairly good decision making, and you put a lot of trust in your teammates. And you only overextended a small handful of times this game. Most of it was underextending, if I was going to pick anything. But it was a very solid game from you. And if you had a good teammate, someone you could actually trust, I think you would actually be fairly good. Like, this guy has no idea. What the fuck, man? I'm so triggered. Um, but yeah, all in all, that's all I really pick on. Situational mechanics. So practice your mechanics um, a little bit more. Try to get a bit more diverse with what mechanics you're capable of doing. Don't go for anything ridiculously hard. Don't master roof shots and shit like that because 90% of the time you're not going to need them. Just master things like ground to air dribbles, power shots, stuff like that. And I think with that and sort of situationally figuring out what's what and um, sort of assessing your enemies a little bit more. So you assessed your teammate, you realize he's absolute donkey shit. So you just let him do his dumb mistakes and then you take took the ball for yourself. And that was really good. That's exactly what you need to do when you have a teammate like this. You let them do their whiffs and then you work around that, right? Um, but you didn't really assess your enemies. Your enemies are actually less skilled than I think you're giving them credit for from time to time. Like this, for example, pushing that wasn't a bad idea. You could have censored it, but your teammate's not fucking there anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. It just matters in a different way. It matters in triggering me because he should be there and be able to trust you, seeing as you're literally the alpha in this entire matchup. But yeah, that's really it. All in all, those would be the things that I would suggest. Work on your mechanics. Your decision making is good. Uh, you respect your enemies. Try to assess them a little bit more. Every time you have a new matchup, try to assess what that enemy might be like or will be like. Um, and just work on your mechanics. That's really it. Try to diversify your play so that you're doing um, uh, more boomers, aim for net a little bit more, all those general things that I would suggest to anyone else. But obviously, you put him on your back, you carried him, you got the saves, you got the goals, um, and yeah, all in all, it was a good game. Well done. And sick car, fam, fucking sick car. I really like it. Can I have it? Anyhow, hope you enjoyed. Enjoy, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fancy shit. Hit me up on Facebook. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later.